Hey guys, for this segment of Let's Get Personal, we're going to discuss the option V and period. Bear with me. The termination option, which is paragraph number 23 of the contract, gives a potential buyer, in return for paying an option fee to the seller, the unrestricted right to terminate the contract by giving notice of termination to the seller within a certain number of days after the effective date of the negotiated contract. So basically what that means is that an option period is time for the buyer to do their due diligence, meaning have the home thoroughly inspected by a licensed inspection company. The option period can range anywhere from 5 to 10 days, but it's all negotiable and you can discuss that with your realtor for the amount of days that you would like. When does the option period start? The option period begins the day the contract is signed, executed, and acknowledged by all parties. In my first video, if you guys want to go back to it or remember, I talked about how I sit down and educate my clients on our initial meeting. This is why. It is very important that your agent has already spoken with you about inspection companies and given you some options on the different companies and their fees so you as a buyer can make an informed decision on who you want performing your inspections. Once the contract has been executed, time is of the essence. So whether you have a 5, 7, or 10-day option period, you're going to want to get your inspections done right away. You can go to your inspections. I usually tell my clients to go the last half hour, and an inspector will kind of go over generally the report with you, but you can expect to have the entire report delivered within 24 hours. Once you get the report, you're going to want to review it. You will make note of items that you want repaired, and then a new set of negotiations have to take place within that option period. If not, we have to send an amendment to extend the option period. This is when we as realtors go back to work and fight on your behalf and renegotiate the contract based on the items that you want repaired or replaced. I will say, and I try and always warn my clients, this is when a lot of contracts go awry. Why? Because the buyer wants more than the seller is willing to give, whether that is fixing the items or perhaps giving a credit to the buyer at closing. How much is the option fee? That is usually discussed between the listing agent and her clients, the sellers, when they take the listing. More oftentimes than not, in our MLS system, you will see the amount in the agent remarks. For example, it could say $25 per day for 10 days, which means you would then write a check for $250. I would say depending on the price of the home though, it could range anywhere from $100 to $500, and it is credited to the buyer at closing, and you will see that on the closing disclosure. The option fee is non-refundable. So even if you bust out of contract through the option period, you don't receive that money back. Who receives the option fee? The option fee is made payable directly to the seller, usually via personal check. So expect for those sellers to cash your option fee right away. So you will need to make sure those funds are readily available in your account. When should it be delivered? Within 3 days after the effective date on the contract. And the time to deliver the option fee is not affected by weekends or holidays. I always tell my clients it's due the day you sign, just to avoid any problems of if they're working or busy. I want to be able to get that in my hands and be able to deliver it. Last week I talked about the earnest money. So once we go into a contract, I usually arrange for myself or sometimes the buyer will drop it off at my office, the option fee check and the earnest money. Once I have both in my hand, I will then contact the listing agent. The listing agent can accept the option fee on behalf of her sellers, his or her sellers. So as long as they have it in their hand within that time frame, we are good to go. Both will be receipted, meaning the option fee and earnest money, and the entire contract will then again be sent out to all parties. The reason we say time is of the essence is because if the option fee is not paid within 3 days, then the option period does not exist and you don't get that time to do your due diligence, and so you're buying the home as is. At the end of the day, make sure your realtor knows how to properly handle option periods and protect your money. This is a very critical stage in the contract, and it kind of propels us either if we're going forward or not. So I just wanted to educate you guys on that process. So if you have any more questions, don't feel bad if you have to like send me a text, email. I always say no question is a dumb question. So don't feel bad when you're sending me questions that you think like, oh, is she going to answer this? I'm here as a resource for you, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.